Welcome to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Joyous conversations about what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about our one reality. You have nothing to fear. You are eternal and you are perfectly loved. Knowing the truth changes everything. Now, here's Roberta.
Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I'm so happy you're with us today. This week, our topic is one that is near and dear to many of our hearts. Lots of people want to talk about whether and how our pets communicate with us after our deaths. And the answer is, as actually most of you know, of course our departed pets communicate with us, and they communicate in a lot of ways. But if you want to hear from your own beloved departed pet, then you really have to be aware of the kinds of signs that your type of pet is most likely to send. So we have a special, very special guest today, and she's with us for the fifth time. But before we welcome Karen Anderson, I want to tell you my own very favorite pet communication story. I've told this before, but sorry, I'm going to tell it again because this is a really, really important story to me. Not every pet that's really cherished and loved is a dog or a cat. This is not, by the way, a hamster story, you'll be glad to know. My own most wonderful pet of my life was my Morgan horse, Bo. I bought him when he was 6 months old, and I owned him until he was almost 30, and we had to put him down, and I was devastated. When I tell you that Bo was the love of my life, apologies to my husband of more than 50 years. Bo was in some ways kind of the love of my life. My middle child, when she was small, was the only other person he ever allowed to ride him. And he took very, very good care of my daughter, but he bucked everybody else off but me. He bucked them off politely. You never actually saw him do it, but they always ended up on the ground. With me, though, and with Laura, he was very, very, very careful. And he enjoyed carriage driving, actually, as much as he enjoyed being ridden by the two of us. So 2 nights after he died, he sent me a communication dream of carriage driving on our favorite dirt roads. There was a huge state forest right next to our house. And he took me one more time on those dirt roads. And that dream is full of communication symbols. It was a vivid, vivid communication dream. I remember it to this day, and he's been dead now, God, for I think it's 15 years, something like that. And wow, does he look gorgeous now. So I have promised Bo that I won't ride or drive a horse again until I can ride and drive my boy in the afterlife. And Thomas, as you know, is my spirit guide, and he has told me that he has his we have his promise, and we have God's promise that when my time to go comes, I'm going to see Thomas standing there holding Bo, and I'm going to get to ride out on him. That is my communication story, and I don't think anyone can top it. All of that is so vivid. Even 15 years after I had that dream, it's vivid as if it had just happened last night. So now I'm going to introduce our very, very special guest today. For the 5th time she's with us, and I've been begging her to come back for the past 3 years. She hasn't been with us for 3 years. She's told me she was writing a book, and I finally said, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, we're about, all of us, to see her wonderful book. Karen Anderson is with us. And Karen is a wonderful, wonderful expert on animal communication. She's one of those guests that back when she used to come to visit with us, always after she was here, I would hear from people who loved hearing from her, and they would ask when she was coming back. Karen Anderson is an award-winning animal communicator, evidential medium, and pet loss specialist. Her abilities were evident when she was a child, but they were surfaced during her law enforcement career. What an unlikely combination. Karen has documented her rather unusual journey from deputy sheriff to psychic with 3 books. Here All Creatures, The Amazing Afterlife of Animals, and her brand new book, just about to come out. It's about now coming out, literally, as we speak. It's called The Pet I Can't Forget, Finding Hope and Healing with Signs from the Afterlife. And besides offering courses in animal communication, Karen now devotes her life to helping animals in need as the CEO and founder of Painted Rain Ranch, which is a nonprofit animal sanctuary. Her 30-acre ranch provides a final refuge to the pets no one else wants, the elderly, special needs, and abandoned companion animals that otherwise, might not find a home. Karen, welcome, my dear friend. We're so glad to have you back.
Thank you so much. And what a beautiful story. And I know exactly what you mean. Those dreams are so vivid and memorable, aren't they?
Oh, unbelievable. And he's so beautiful now. I mean, he was a broken down old horse when out to pasture when he died. And wow, does he look gorgeous now.
I love that. And it's that you brought up some really important points there, because when our departed companions visit us in our dreams, they're always whole. So whole in spirit, whole in body. If they were missing a leg here in life, they have that leg.
Beautiful and young. Yes.
So it's good to see them. And usually they present themselves robust and full of energy and just having a good time, because they are having a good time.
They are having a good time. That's right.
Yes. And that's one of them.
And I've seen him one more time, actually.
Have you?
His head and neck. I was going through a difficult time, and just before I woke up, I got a hug from him, just his head and neck. He lowered his head, and his mane. Usually the mane is on the offside, his mane. He had a mane on the left, beautiful thick Morgan mane, and he just gave me a hug. Beautiful.
I love that. I love it. And it's, I forget my dreams. They may be on my mind when I wake up.
I think, but that's a communication dream. You remember those dreams. Yes.
It's because they're real.
They are real.
It's a real experience. And that's what sets them apart from just some random crazy dream that we have where, nothing really makes sense. But, it's truly one of the most common ways that they will reach out to us, because when we are sleeping, our brains are relaxed.
Yep.
And it's much easier for them to come through and get through atmosphere and get through our thoughts and get through our, the things that make us crazy all day long.
So often we will say, oh, that couldn't be real.
Right.
But we aren't thinking that when they're right there. They can hug us. They can do the familiar things that we're going to recognize. Yeah.
I hear that so much that, my clients will tell me, or the readers who read my book say, I actually felt them hug me, or I felt their fur, or I felt their warmth. There's so many experiences in there. There's touch, there's emotions, there's
tactile.
Just
yes.
Yeah, the visual. I mean, it's really a visit. It is, absolutely real. And we want that validation. We want to know, what did that really happen? Is that possible? Yes, absolutely.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Yes, and you can invite them into your dreams. You can say to them just before you go to sleep, I would love for you to visit me in my dreams tonight, or write a little love note to them and tuck it under your pillow, inviting them into your dreams. And some will come and some won't, but don't get your little feelers hurt if you don't remember a dream, or if you don't have one of these visits like what we're talking about, because sometimes if you're grieving very deeply, that grief will block those memories.
Isn't that sad? But it's true.
Yes.
That's right.
You'll still have the visit. You just won't remember, like how we're talking about how memorable they are. So you have to trust that those things really happen and they are truly real. And the other important factor, and I know you can relate to this too because of your experience, those dream visits are always powerful, loving, positive, uplifting.
Always.
Yes. They're
nothing negative at all. Yep.
Infused with love, right? I mean, you could just...
Perfect. Oh my goodness, the love. That's right.
Right. So if you have a bad dream or something that caused you to be distressed, perhaps you thought your beloved companion was not okay or hurting or something like that. That is not a visit. Never, never. That's your subconscious, and that's you working through the different phases of grief and pain that we go through after a loss. So be sure to separate those two things if they do happen.
Totally. Yep, that's right.
Yep, a visit is always powerful, transformative, memorable, positive, and love infused. And there's never trauma. There's never anybody calling out or crying or in pain. Never, never, never. So
that's right. That's right.
Yep.
So tell us all the wonderful things you've been up to in the past 3 years. Tell us about your Painted Rain Ranch. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, Painted Rain Ranch. I can't believe it's been 3 years. That kind of boggles my mind a little bit.
I kept saying, come back, Karen. You kept saying, oh, I'm writing a book.
Oh my gosh. And it's been a crazy couple of years. So when I set out to write The Pet I Can't Forget, I fully intended it. I would tell everyone, oh, it's going to be out before Christmas. Well, I guess I never.
Which Christmas, though, did you?
I forgot to specify which Christmas.
That's right.
So it's going to be out before Christmas.
It will.
It will. Right. It's just taken almost 3 Christmases to get here. So in the meantime, while I was writing the manuscript, I decided that I wanted to fulfill a lifelong childhood dream of mine to open up an animal sanctuary where I could bring all the animals that no one else wants, the ones that get overlooked, the ones that have issues, or they're missing a limb, or they have a health issue, or the most unadoptable, because that's, to me, they need love too. They deserve a forever home and a place to call, this is mine, and this is where I sleep, and I don't have to ever worry about being farmed out to another family or another home. This is my sanctuary. So I created this nonprofit to give those animals a final refuge. They stay with me here on the ranch till their last breath, and they are part of my family. There's no cages or kennels. They live with me, and we have beautiful gardens for them with raspberries and apple trees and pear trees and beautiful flowers. And there's over 5 acres just around the house that is protected. And the cats can go outside if they want. The dogs can go outside if they want. It's a sanctuary. It really is. It is beautiful here in Eastern Washington. So I've also been very busy with that. So along with writing the manuscript, it's my pride and joy to say that I'm welcoming these most deserving animals in. And we're very different than other rescues. We don't adopt out. So once I bring them in, they stay. It's a forever kind of thing with me.
That's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
It is. It's amazing. It's so heartwarming. And how I find the adoptables is I'll go to my local shelters. Sometimes they just find me. I'll just go outside and there's somebody. It's like, oh, who sent you my way? But I will visit the shelters and I will go to the person in charge and ask them for the one who's been there the longest, or the one who's been overlooked the most, or the one who has no adoptions pending. And that's the one I bring home.
Wow. Good for you. I mean, it's hard to do that.
It is.
It really is.
Because there's so many that
responsibilities, and responsibilities are hard to take on.
Yeah. So medical bills up the wazoo.
Sure.
I'm at the vet. That's all I do. It's like I go to the vet, I go get supplies, and I go to the vet. But that's okay. This is truly, I keep them as comfortable as I possibly can, and they get 5-star treatment around here, and we roll out the red carpet for them. And, they really are all beautiful. And they transform. The ones that are so messed up in the shelter, I bring them here, and within a very short time, it's like, boom, they transform into this amazing, sometimes even their health issues go away. just the stress of being in a shelter environment or being unloved and having the love and support of a home. It's amazing, the
How many animals
transformations.
do you have?
Right now we have 25 in my care. Yeah, but that includes chickens. Yes, we have rescue chickens.
Rescue chickens?
We have a horse. We have dogs, cats, and a few albino turkeys.
Albino turkeys?
Albino turkeys. Yes, the big ones.
Vegetarian?
Pardon me?
Are you a vegetarian?
I'm a vegan. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, this is a happy ranch. Everybody here lives out their natural life. So yes, and we are so fortunate to live in such a beautiful area. It's rolling hills, it's pine trees. It looks very almost like a slice of heaven. I live on top of a mountain. There's no neighbors around. It's a completely private, protected area. It's just beautiful. So yes, they live very good lives here.
I think that when you love animals, you become more and more and more as if you kind of find it harder to eat meat.
Oh, that's so true.
I mean,
So
I
true.
see it in myself too. I eat very little. I don't really have an aversion to it. I just don't eat it much. I mean, I don't, and I think I noticed that one of my children has become a vegan. One of my daughters, the other isn't one, but she doesn't eat much meat. You know what I mean? It just sort of, it's a natural flow in your life. As you get older, you sort of don't eat much meat.
It is. And, it's also, personal choice. For some people, it doesn't work. I'm about 98% plant-based. I do have chickens. I don't have roosters. I just have the hens. And so we do have farm fresh eggs here. And then I do get local honey. I know where they are. I know the field that they're in, and they're not abused bees or anything like that. So I know they're happy bees. So I stick to that plant-based diet, and it just makes me happier. And I understand it's a personal choice, and you have to do what's right for you. And I understand there are some medical issues that prevent people from doing that. But for me, it was an easy decision, very easy decision.
I mean, I sort of think I'm going in that direction. I sort of don't feel that I can go all the way for health reasons, if no other reason. But
yes,
I kind of am going in that direction myself.
Yes, my doctor loves it. She's like, whatever you're doing, keep doing
it. Right.
Yeah, cholesterol levels are, off the charts good, and overall health is so good. So, it's just the best choice for me. And again, I don't judge anyone.
No, I feel the same way. It's up to other members of my family are pretty much carnivore that don't eat anything else but meat. So you really can't. You have to let people do whatever feels right to them.
Right. And you'll love this, right? So for the ladies out there who can relate, my husband decided that he was going to go vegan with me. He says, cook me whatever you're cooking. I'll eat whatever you're eating. Well, he lost 30 pounds and I gained 10. So how does that happen?
I don't even know.
Like, what? Oh, why? Not fair.
Yeah, that isn't fair at all. Well, what I have found is the only thing that works for me to, sort of gradually lose weight, and it's worked really well, is just to, what do they call it? I just eat during a very narrow period of the day.
Oh, the intermittent fasting.
Yeah, intermittent fasting. And I don't eat until 11, and I stop eating at like 5:36. That's it. and I don't eat in between at all, not a single calorie, not even drinking a calorie. And that has worked. That's the only thing that works.
It works for some people. I turn into a crazed lunatic if I do that. So that doesn't work for me.
Given that I am already, reasonably crazed, it hasn't affected that at all. I mean, nothing changes there.
Right.
But my body totally forgets about food after 5 or 6 at night. And it doesn't even think about food until after 11 in the morning, at which point it says, excuse me. It sort of taps me on the shoulder and says, have you forgotten something? But until then, it doesn't even care. It doesn't want me to have breakfast at all. So that works. And I've gradually, I think I'm down 2 sizes or something.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
Over a year. Yeah. It's been good. I mean, it's the only thing that works. I've tried every diet other than that. And all they do is make me want to eat more.
Exactly. So. Yep. It's like all you do is think about how hungry you are. And
so that works for me. But anyway, we're supposed to talk about animals.
Okay.
Let's talk about your new book.
Yes.
By the way, I thought we're going to put all 3 titles in the materials for this, and I think that your other books are great too. So let's talk about the new one, which I haven't even seen. Usually, I've read the book by the time I get to interview whoever wrote the book. So tell me about the new one. Most people feel this way. The Pet I Can't Forget. Now, people who have had 42 dogs and 17 cats can't forget any one of those.
No, it's not a rule. It's just,
it's just the way it is. You just can't forget any of them. They're all
they're all special, right? I mean, I really feel like we love them all, so deeply, so dearly, but there tends to be just one. Like for you, it was Bo that just...
Yeah, well, that's true. But he's the only horse he's not the only horse I've ever owned. I've owned a lot of horses, but he's the only one I owned from a baby. He was 6 months old, and he moved with us to Florida. He moved with us to Texas. So but it wasn't just longevity of ownership. It was more that he was actually a human being. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about. There's
really
usually... we love them all equally. They're so important to us, and I'm not downplaying the others at all. I'm just saying that there just seems to be one that holds the key to our heart and soul. And that's what kind of inspired me. I was like, gosh, I've had all these animals, and I've lost all these animals over the years, and I've loved them all so deeply. But I wondered about, why is there that one, or if you're lucky enough, more than that has this... we have this inexplicable connection. And I wanted to visit that and dig a little deeper. And in that, I found that my readers are also feeling the same way. Like, I hear this all the time. It was the love of my life, my soulmate. This beloved companion was my whole world. I don't know what to do without them. And it really is... devastating beyond words when they leave their bodies, and we have to go on without them in physical form. And the way for me is through their healing signs, their messages from the afterlife. That's what gets me through those dark days, the loss, the pain, the grief, and all of that which follows after a loss. So that was the direction I wanted to go, to help people see that our beloved companions are sending us signs, some before they leave. They're sending us signs, and I wanted to help highlight those so that you know where to look, you know what they are, and you can embrace them and not think it's your imagination or wishful thinking or coincidence. I hear that a lot. Oh, is it just coincidence that this?
It's really, that's the most amazing things they can attribute to coincidence. The sun stopped in the sky for 2 hours.
Right.
Just a coincidence.
No. And I write back to him, I go, are you crazy? That's not a coincidence. That's a sign. Never discount those things.
It's so
Oh my God.
amazing.
The most amazing
I saw
things
4
happen.
dogs in a row that looked identical to my dog with spots all in the same place. But that was just a coincidence.
Right. It's like, no, not coincidence. So this book is truly an in-depth look into those amazing connections we have, the incredible signs they send us from the afterlife, how they send them, where to look for them. And sometimes they're in really strange places. Sometimes they're very obvious, like I call them sky signs, the rainbows, the shooting stars, those amazing prisms that you see up in the clouds. There's big signs, and there's teeny tiny little signs where you just maybe see a little movement out of the corner of your eye, but when you look, there's nothing there. So this book highlights all of those different types of signs and how you can look for them, how you can raise your vibration to receive more signs. And the whole book is full of actual stories.
I love it. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. People need to be able to read that. Oh, that person really got that?
Yes.
What I just said about Bo, all real. That all really happened to me. I wouldn't have believed it, but it did happen. And I'm a skeptic about a lot of stuff, but I swear. And if I told you all the specific things that were in that dream that were real, and the things that horse did when he was alive, that I would have never seen a horse do. I mean, he was a human being in a horse body.
I get it.
It's incredible to me.
I get it. I get it. And it's so uplifting. There's sad stories. There has to be. It's about the loss of a companion. Of course, there's going to be sad stories, but there's so much hope and healing in every single story. They're so uplifting. You cannot. I was shocked. I interviewed 50 clients for this book, and I got their stories on Zoom. And as they were telling me their stories, my eyes are this big, my mouth drops open.
Isn't that great?
Oh my gosh. Wonderful. And I'm typing away, and oh my gosh. So I was blown away. I was blown away. So if I was blown away, just imagine. And I've seen it all, done it all. I've been conducting sessions for 26 years.
Wonderful.
Some of these stories are just mind-boggling. They are so incredible. And Roberta, the most important thing is how healing signs are. They transform us. They help us realize.
They truly do.
Our pets are not gone.
I was bereft before I had that dream. After that dream, I didn't even grieve for him. I knew how happy he is.
I know. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, it's not a grief book. Total transparency here. I'm not a grief expert. I certainly have been through grief many, many, many times. I lost 8 of my own animal companions while I was writing this manuscript. So you were wondering what took me so long. Well, every time I would finally get to where my head would clear and I could sit at the keyboard again, I'd lose another. So, there went Karen's writing ability right out the window. And I'm a private griever. I go away. I disappear. It's like, don't talk to me. Leave me alone. I just want to be with my other animals, and I withdraw, and I don't vocalize it. I don't go out there and say, this happened to me. I just want to be left alone. So 8 times I lost somebody that I deeply cared about while I was writing this. So as I'm writing, I'm like, oh, tears pouring down. But it was so helpful for me writing it to see all of these incredible stories with these amazing signs that it's just cements it home that they're not gone. They're with us. They're around us. The afterlife is here. Our companions know what's going on in our lives. They see things that we're doing. They check in with us. They keep tabs on us. They're not with us all the time, but they're mostly with us. They're where they want to be the most, doing what they want to be, and they can be in more than one place at one time. So there's so much going on there. And once you open yourself up to the possibility that, yes, you can receive a sign. Yes, the signs are all around you. No, it's not coincidence. And this is how you know the difference between coincidence and a sign. Amazing things happen. I had one of my volunteers, she read the draft and she called me back and she said, Karen, you're not going to believe this. I'm getting goosebumps right now just telling you the story. She hadn't gotten a sign from her dog in years. He passed away about 10 years ago. After she read the manuscript, she went down to the harbor to meet her daughter for dinner, took a random picture of the sunset, went home and looked at it, and in the cloud formations was the exact outline of her dog wearing the harness that he used to wear because he had a neck injury, so he wore a harness. Spitting image. It was amazing. And she said, had it not been for your book, I never would have looked for this. I never would have seen this. I would have completely missed this opportunity to see this huge sign. So ever since then, she's had incredible things happening to her. It has opened the door for more signs to come through. And that's what I'm so excited about, is for the readers to go, wow, this can happen. This is really real. And then that starts happening to them.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. In my book, The Fun of Staying in Touch, there are a lot of stories, real stories about animal signs that I was hearing from people at the time. I was doing more appearances then that I don't do them anymore. But people would just tell me stories because I was talking about animal signs when I would do speaking engagements. A lot of people get animal signs and they don't share them much. But if you open up and get people to open up to you, wow, you get all kinds of great stories.
Yes. And then the end of the book, or the last part of the book, I should say, has about, I think there's about 12 or 15 stories that were actual sessions that I conducted. And the messages that came through were so amazing that I didn't necessarily know at the time, because when you're in a session, you're in that moment in the session, then the client hangs up and they call you later and go, you won't believe this.
Yeah.
But one of those things.
Right.
So the last part has actual afterlife sessions that are just mind blowing, that I couldn't believe it when I heard back from some of my clients. Sometimes for the first time, I heard back as to what some of the messages meant. Because when you're conducting a session, you're channeling this information. So you're not really thinking about the information. You have to relay it so fast and so accurately to the client that you're not worried about, okay, does this make sense? Does this apply to them? You're just getting the information to them as purely as you can. And then after you close the session down, you can kind of come back into yourself and think about it. And then you hear back as to what that actually meant to them. Wow. And like I said, even for me, and I've heard it and seen it all, that some of these stories were just incredible. The messages, the accuracy, the amount of detail, how transformative, taking someone from the brink of not even wanting to be here anymore.
Yeah, that's the part that gets me when they say that they don't want to live.
Yeah, and getting them on
let's go on with our lives here. We've got a lot of work to do.
And just one teeny tiny little sign that you or I would think was so insignificant that we might have not shared had we not been, more experienced to know you got to share it. If you got it, if you received it, you got to share it. And yet that transforms them and takes them to a completely different level. It doesn't make the pain go away. Nothing makes the pain go away. Nothing. That's life. That's part of the relationship and the experience we have with our pets. I have people writing to me all the time. Nothing will take my pain away. What do I do? I can't take your pain away. I can't do that. I can't take my own pain away. But signs from the afterlife definitely help you kind of lift up a little bit into a better place where, like you said, the grief kind of minimizes
Oh
at a
my
certain
goodness.
point.
When I had that trip with Bo and I was driving him again and it was so real, my pain went down to about 2% from
See?
from a from 150%
Yes,
in that one
yes. So,
experience, I swear.
yes. And
I was I knew because I already know there's an afterlife, so I knew he was going to be waiting there and I couldn't wait to drive him again.
right,
And
right.
he liked being a carriage horse, even much better than being a riding horse. And
Did
so he
he?
said, "We're going to do this again, my dear." And I said, "I can't wait."
It's amazing how much of a difference it'll make,
Wow.
and
It
how
does make such a
healing.
difference.
It's healing. It heals us. It doesn't change what happened. It doesn't make
No, but he was
the
so old. He was no use to himself, never mind to anyone else. So he
right.
wanted to go. He couldn't get up that morning. He just couldn't even get up. He was full of arthritis. He was just very old. He was
Yeah,
nothing. His life was no use to himself anymore.
right.
And now
Yes.
he's beautiful. That was the point he wanted to make. Look what I
It,
can do again. I'm having fun again.
yes. It's wonderful. It's amazing.
Well,
And
yeah,
it's so possible for everyone, even though not every animal will send an obvious sign or a dream visitation. If you start to become more aware of what's happening around you and just what I call raising your vibration, you raise your
yes,
vibration,
absolutely. That's
yes,
that's very important.
yes. And anyone can do it. Believe me, if I can do it, anyone can do it. You raise your vibration and you say, you know what? I'm open to this. I want to receive. I'm excited. I want to connect. And you set your intention, and amazing things can happen. And that's what this book is really about. It's about the healing journey that we take, and how one little sign from the afterlife changes everything and
It
puts us
changes
in a
everything.
whole
Everything.
different, yes, a whole different perspective. So story after story after story, lots of stories, lots of evidential messages, and what that did for the client who belonged to that particular companion. And I do want to put a little disclaimer out there. As I was coming up with the title, you can imagine, all the really good, catchy titles are already taken. So I was trying to think of, what would be a good title. I'm not a fan of the word pet. I just want to put that out there because I think that doesn't really define them. To me, they're the love of my life, their family, pet
Of
is
course.
kind of a little bit of a condescending word. So I just want to share that with algorithms and search engines and all of that, I was really limited. So I
It
chose
sort
that
of
for the,
rhyme with forget. The pet I can't
it rhymes
forget.
with forget.
Yeah.
So that's my
Well,
little disclaimer, because I know I'm going to catch some heat with people saying, my animals aren't pets. And it's like, well, mine aren't either, but it rhymes with forget. And when people are searching for pet loss books or whatever, they put in the
a
word
lot of
pet.
people use the word pet. That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So,
true.
and I also don't believe in the word owner. I will never call us the owner, because I think if anyone owns anyone, they own our hearts and our souls,
Yeah.
not the other way around. I think I call
I
us
never thought of it. You're right. That's a very hard. What are they? They're, I don't know. They are,
owners. So, you can own a car or own a piece of property, or, but come on, our animals aren't property. They're living, breathing things. So I call us their moms and dads. We are their caretakers.
I don't, the thing is, I just think of him as my dearest friend he's the closest friend I've ever had.
So owner doesn't, you won't see that word in my book. You will see the word pet, but just remember, I had very limited things I could get to rhyme with forget.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard. You're right. That's a hard thing to talk about.
It is, it is. And we don't call them our animals, do we? We don't say animals. That's almost
No, I
like
don't think of him as an animal at all.
my dog, my cat, my sweet angel, we have all these little terms of endearment for them, but that would be really hard on a book cover to get that on there. But so I'm really excited. I think this book is going to be so helpful to those who are anticipating a loss. Maybe their companion isn't doing real well and they just want to be more grounded during their time together. And as the final days approach, a great book to help you understand, what the animal goes through. And I don't want to spoil anything that's in the book, but there's a little surprise in there about how the story is told. So I'm not going to spoil it.
Very exciting.
Gonna have to read it. But yeah, there's a little twist in there.
The twist?
The first part.
Right.
Yeah. The end is kind of normal. I'll call it normal, but the main bulk of the story has a twist to it.
But there's a twist.
There's a twist. Yes.
Well, this book will be coming out very, very soon.
Yes. Very soon.
The pet I can't forget, but it's not a pet. Finding Hope and Healing with Signs from the Afterlife. And the other books were terrific, easy to read, and very, very helpful. So I'm sure this one will be too. And but by the time that you are hearing us talk, that book should be available on Amazon and wherever fine books are sold. So I urge you to read it. And we've come to the end of our time, Karen. What do you want people to take away from our conversation today?
I want them to take away that it's not the end. It may seem like the end when you've lost the love of your life or a beloved companion, but I promise you that they are with you every single day. They're in their favorite spots. They're seeing everything that you're going through. They want you to live a full and happy life. They're not grieving. You're grieving, but they're not.
No, because they can see you. That's right.
Yes. And truly, there's nowhere else they'd rather be than with you. So it's not the end. It's actually just the beginning of the next part of your connection with them, and embrace that. You were a good caretaker. You were a good mom and dad. Embrace that. They're never going to leave you. You guys are stuck with each other.
Right. Oh, my dear, biggest hug. I'm so glad we had you back. Of course, and I will want to have you back again. So I'll be in touch about that.
Thanks so much. And one last plug, I do have a free mobile app. It is downloadable in the App Store or Google Play. It is called Pet Loss, Hope, and Healing. And it has all kinds of afterlife insight and animal communication, all kinds of good stuff. So check that out too.
It's called Pet Loss.
Pet Loss, Hope, and Healing with the and sign. Pet Loss, Hope, and Healing. And beautiful support. If you need help or struggling, it has really uplifting, supportive afterlife insights and ongoing animal communication. There's even free training for animal communication. It has lots of great resources too.
And you can just get that in the App Store.
Yes, and if anyone would like to schedule an afterlife session or a pet session, reach out to me because I work with several outstanding colleagues that have done sessions for me that have blown my mind. So,
and it's just KarenAnderson.net, right?
Yep.
That's it?
KarenAnderson.net.
Yep. And they can reach you. Perfect. Big hug, my dear. This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure as always. I really appreciate so much this opportunity to share.
And again, we've come to the end of our time. This has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. I'm so happy you could be with us today, everyone. Please never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began, you never will end. And when you really get all the implications of that fact, it changes everything in your life for the better. Next week, our guest will be Peter Hayes, and Peter will be here as part of a very happy Seek Reality tradition. Each year we talk about the annual Spiritist Weekend, which is upcoming from the United States Spiritist Federation on Saturday, September 30th, from 9:30 to 6 o'clock in Portland, Oregon. I bet that's out in your neighborhood, actually, Karen, and online. The Spiritists always kindly send us a spokesman to be our guest, and Peter Hayes is working at just doing that for us. He's the Spiritist Group Love and Light director in Newark, New Jersey, and he's the current active participant in the Tri-State Spiritist Federation as well. He's kind of a big shot with them. And so he's the one who's going to help us understand what they're talking about this year. And he's sort of going to just talk to us about what the Spiritists are up to now. They're an interesting group of people because they're not like the spiritualists who are kind of frozen 100 years ago. They're really up to the minute. And I think this is actually a very interesting, rapidly growing group, not just in Brazil, which is kind of where they're based, but also in the United States as well. He and his wife, through their company, which is called Sem Fronteiras Press, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, they're a publisher which is based in Brazil, Colombia, and the U.S. And they publish children's books and young adult books. And he holds an MFA in dramatic writing from New York University, and he works in commercial real estate as well, because of course everyone needs a J job too. Please join us next week. And this is I've talked with him a little bit, and he's a very interesting guy in his own right. And hear also about this happy annual Seek Reality event where we promote the Spiritist organization in the United States. And this week, our friend Karen Anderson has been with us for the 5th time. I love talking with Karen because she and I talk about all kinds of things. We're kind of friends outside of this little world of Seek Reality as well. And her new book, The Pet I Can't Forget, Finding Hope and Healing with Science from the Afterlife, sounds just wonderful for so many people who are so much in love with their beautiful pets. And I heard from someone just today who told me he has filled a swimming pool with all the tears he has shed for these pets that have just died in his life, and asked me please to send him a medium, someone who could help him talk with his pets. So I'm going to send him the names that Karen has just given to me. I'm very excited to be able to help him because, frankly, I don't know very many mediums now who are very much good at doing this. So, and Karen says she does have some real names that I can give to people. Karen has been a very popular Seek Reality guest in the past, and I'm glad she's finally willing to help us now that she has her sanctuary well established. In this field of communicating with pets, of helping people to understand whether their pets are still alive and well, frankly, Karen Anderson is the star in this field. And I'm excited to bring her back to you to be able to help you if you lose your pet, as inevitably you will, because someone years ago who was a friend of mine and also worked in this field said, I just always tell people when you get a puppy, understand that you're buying pain in it for a wrapper. And that is so true. Dogs especially have such a short life. And now, of course, it's time to once again mention that Seek Reality Online is your one-stop resource for all things afterlife. Just go to seekreality.com and start to learn for yourself that your own reality actually truly is eternal. More than 80% of the people in this world, by recent survey, still don't believe that they're going to be surviving their own deaths. I can't believe that because the evidence is so overwhelming. I just don't even think about it twice. I know I'm going to be driving Bo very soon. Once again, he and I are going to be driving on those dirt roads in the state forest for all eternity. And frankly, I can't wait. I'm sorry, but I feel so excited about seeing my friend again now that I've told you about that dream. It was the most wonderful time that we used to do all those wonderful drives, and we're going to be doing it again. Meanwhile, please learn the ultimate truth for yourself so you will never, ever be afraid again of dying. Dying is, frankly, one of the most wonderful things that's ever going to happen to you. Learn from our dear friend Craig Hogan what's true. He is the worldwide expert on all things afterlife. And of course, you know who the worldwide expert is on all things eternal life. please learn from Jesus at teachingsbyjesus.com. And he is your single resource for all the beautiful divine truths that he's been trying to bring to you for all this time. But of course, as you know, Christianity was hijacked a long time ago by the Roman Emperor Constantine, who now, fortunately, Constantine's religion is slowly dying, so Jesus can at last bring you his teachings as he brought them to you 2,000 years ago, unadulterated by anybody else's teachings. Now it really is Jesus' turn. We are trying to do for him what he has asked us to do, which is to bring you teachingsbyjesus.com. Teachingsbyjesus.com is the Lord's own religion-free website. It's made by Jesus in perfect love for you. My own nonfiction books are Liberating Jesus, My Thomas, The Fun of Dying, The Fun of Staying in Touch, The Fun of Growing Forever, The Fun of Living Together, and The Fun of Loving Jesus, Embracing the Christianity that Jesus Taught. For young children, there is The Fun of Meeting Jesus. You can order all these books through bookstores on Amazon.com or on BarnesandNoble.com. All the adult books but the last one are available as audiobooks. And if you want to talk about anything, you can always contact me through the green contact block on RobertaGrimes.com. I answer every email if I have your correct email address. Just give me a couple of weeks because I have so many emails that come in every day. And I try to give a really thoughtful answer. Sometimes it's not a long answer if it doesn't have to be. But it's very sad when those emails bounce, so please make sure I have your correct email address. All of the more than 500 past episodes of Seek Reality over more than 10 years now are available wherever audio podcasts can be found. And you can listen to new audio episodes each week with the Seek Reality app that you can get for free wherever free apps are available. You can also see the new video episodes each week on Roku or Fire Stick. Meanwhile, this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Please enjoy, please make the most of this coming week in our one reality, always knowing that you are a powerful, eternal being, and you, most of all in this entire universe. Never forget that you are truly and infinitely loved.
You've been listening to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Roberta blogs and answers questions at RobertaGrimes.com. Join us every week as we explore what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about the one reality we all share. Knowing the truth changes everything.